Imagine coming home to find your expensive floors smeared with a pet accident because your budget robot couldn't identify a hazard. It's the difference between a clean home and a biohazard cleanup that ruins your hardwood forever. And it happens way more often than you think. If you've got pets and you're eyeing that super cheap no name robot vacuum with a too good to be price, please pause. Do not hit buy yet, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to give you 10 brutally honest reasons why that mystery brand robot vacuum could turn your home into a disaster zone. Reason number one, it cannot recognize pet messes. Those fancy avoid the poop features you see advertised, the ultra cheap no name bots usually don't have them. To them, a pile of pet poop is just another bump in the road. So it runs straight through it, smears it into the grout, grinds it into rugs, and tracks it in perfect little arcs around your home like some kind of horror movie paintbrush. One small accident becomes a house wide contamination on your floors, under your baseboards, even on the robot's wheels and brushes. Reason number two, weak suction plus tons of fur equals fake cleaning. Pets don't just shed, some of them basically snow fur. A no name robot with bargain bin suction can pick up the visible crumbs, sure, but the hair, it tangles, clogs, and gets left behind. That means you still get hair on your clothes, hair on your couch, hair in that one corner it never quite reaches. You think your floors are clean because the robot ran, but your socks tell a very different story when they come up covered in tumbleweeds. Reason number three, terrible navigation in real, messy homes. Your home isn't a showroom. There are pet beds, half chewed toys, food bowls, water spills, and maybe a few mystery objects your pet dragged in from the yard. Cheap bots usually don't map rooms properly, they just bump, guess, and wander. They get stuck under chairs, trapped on thresholds, confused by dark rugs, and spun around by table legs. Instead of methodically cleaning, they randomly zigzag until the battery dies, leaving huge areas untouched and your patience completely gone. Reason number four, hair and long fur destroy cheap brushes. Pet fur, especially long fur, wraps around the brush like a rope. Good robots are designed for that. They have better brush designs, easier to remove rollers, and sometimes tools to cut through tangles. The no name budget bots, they choke. The brush stops spinning, the motor strains, and suddenly your set and forget cleaner is a high maintenance machine that needs surgery every 2 days. If you have to flip it over, unscrew panels, and fight with a clump of hair just to keep it working, it's not saving you any time. Reason number five, zero trust in the sensors. Pet homes are full of hazards. Stairs, elevated ledges, thick rugs, cords from heated pet beds, maybe even water fountains. Cheap robots often have low quality cliff sensors and obstacle detection. So they misread edges, slam into furniture, and chew on tables. One wrong move and it's yanking on a lamp cord, dragging your phone charger, or getting tangled in your pet's favorite toy. Even worse, if it glitches near stairs or a split level area, you're one malfunction away from a small robot free falling with a dustbin full of everything rubbish. Reason number six, your pet's stress level goes through the roof. A good robot moves smoothly, quietly, and predictably. A cheap no name bot often sounds like a hairdryer with a rattling screw, whines at random pitches, and changes direction like it's possessed. Some pets just side eye it and move on, but anxious pets can really struggle. They might avoid entire rooms, stop using their usual nap spots, or even start having more accidents because they are stressed. You didn't buy a robot vacuum to downgrade your pet's quality of life. Reason number seven, nobody is coming to help you when it breaks. With unknown brands, you're rolling the dice on support. When the app stops connecting, the battery dies in 10 minutes, or the robot just stops responding, you have to ask, is there even a support team? Is there a real warranty? Can you get replacement parts 6 months from now? Or is this thing basically disposable? A robot vacuum is a moving, sucking, bumping machine that lives on your floor with fur, dust, and accidents. It will need maintenance. If you don't get a new brush, a new filter, or a new wheel, that cheap deal becomes a very expensive paperweight. Reason number eight, surprise hidden costs and time drains. On paper, that mystery brand robot looks like it saves you money. In reality, you might spend more time babysitting it than you would just normal vacuuming. You have to rescue it from under the couch, untangle hair from the brush, clean sensors, mop up after it drags a spill through the house, maybe replace the entire unit early when the motor dies. Add in the cost of extra cleaning supplies, wasted time, and the stress of what did it do this time. And suddenly, a slightly more expensive, reliable option looks very, very cheap. Reason number 9, pet related smells get worse, not better. If your robot spreads even a tiny bit of pet mess you didn't see right away, that smell gets ground in. The wheels and brushes can hold on to residue you don't fully clean off. So every time it runs, it's reheating and re-smearing microscopic nastiness into your floors and rugs. You might not see it, but your nose eventually will. And good luck getting that out of porous surfaces, tiny gaps in floorboards, or textured tiles. Reason number 10, it can permanently damage your flooring and your trust. Here's the real nightmare scenario. Your pet has an accident while you're out. The robot starts its scheduled clean. It finds the mess, it plows through it, it grinds it into your hardwood, your grout lines, your expensive rug. You come home not just to a mess, but to stains that don't come out, lingering smells, and a sickening realization that the little helper you bought just vandalized your home. After something like that, every time you leave the house and the robot runs, you'll wonder, what am I coming home to? That's not automation, that's anxiety on a schedule. So let's zoom out. This isn't about buying the most expensive thing on the market, it's about understanding what you absolutely cannot risk when you have pets. You cannot risk a robot that doesn't recognize hazards. You cannot risk a machine that smears waste instead of cleaning it. You cannot risk something that stresses your pets and might wreck your floors. If you want a robot vacuum for a pet home, here's the bottom line. It needs decent navigation, reliable sensors, enough suction for fur, and a brand that will still exist when you need parts. It doesn't have to be flashy, it doesn't have to be the most premium option, but it absolutely cannot be a mystery box with a random name and a suspiciously low price tag. That no name robot vacuum might look like a bargain today, but if it turns one small accident into a whole house disaster, you're not saving money. You're paying for stress, damage, and hours of cleanup. For pet owners, the real question isn't how cheap can I go? It's what's the actual cost if this thing fails in the worst possible way. So before you roll the dice on a robot vacuum that doesn't know the difference between dust and disaster, think about your floors, your rugs, your pet, and your sanity. Sometimes the smartest purchase you'll ever make is the one that you don't make.